Last time out on the M4J network, I made some much needed service cuts to our rail network in an effort to make things run a little bit more efficiently. This time around, I'm aiming to get trains running between Guard City and Sanley, finally connecting up the west side of the map, although things don't quite seem to be as easy as they appear. Hey everyone, it's M4J here, and welcome back to the M4J network here on openttd, and welcome to a big project. I say that every episode at the moment, and I think that one, well, in this case, it's more true than ever. I'm just getting up the stopping patterns sheet. It's a big project for me for a couple of reasons. The first of which is we're going to be getting 14 new services running today, with a little bit of luck. And the second reason it's a big project is because I'm actually producing two videos concurrently at the moment. This one, which if you're watching is going up on the 3rd Friday of October, I believe. But between last episode and this episode, there is another video that has gone up on the Friday in between those two, and that is all about the database project. Not just the database project, but the timetabling project as a whole. So I'm going to be working on things slightly out of order here because I'm recording this intro for this video first. Then I'm going to get to a point where I need to stop making this video and I have to start making the in-between video. And then I have to come back to this video to finish it off. It all makes sense once it's out. And as I said, by the time you're watching this, the other video is out. You can go check it and you'll see what I mean. But essentially, this is a case study that we're working on here today. I'm over here at Guard City St Michael, where we have the Western Reaches North services. They are all of the trains currently sat in the platforms. These ones here, these 5, and then I think there's a 6th one on the way somewhere. Maybe. One does tend to roll in as I'm talking about it, but apparently not today. This is a good example of it working well, because this is the fast train, the 319. And then behind it, we've got the 333, which is the slower train, which sounds really cool, by the way, when it's pulling out of stations. And this is not going to catch the one in front at all, which is also... Oh, there it is. There's the one I was waiting for. It's a-coming. We're probably not going to see it, though, because today we're working on the Western Reaches South. Because you can see we've got 5 platforms available here. We're going to be filling at least 3 of them today on the fast lines, and then another... I want to say 4? And I'd be right on the slow lines, which are probably going to be these 4, but we'll see. Anyone who knows the Western Reaches network, the north and the south, will know that this is a special railway. It's been built to special standards. First of all, it's got the tilting trains, which, because of a limitation with BR trains, can only operate at 125 miles per hour instead of the 153, I want to say. At least 140. That the trains were actually designed for. These are the APTs, of course. But it's also been designed to European loading gauge, which means we can run double-decker trains, which is what we're going to do today. The semi-fast and slow services are going to be operated by double-decker trains, and the fast services are going to be operated by APTs. That means we should have a ton of passengers moving around this line. And because on the south especially, the stations are located quite far apart. There's one there out of GSMI, and then the next one is here, Little Praningwell, which is a big interchange with the GWR and the Overground. And then the next station after that is all the way down here. There are big gaps between stations. I'm not going to talk too much. One thing I want to get to today is this isn't going to be a long episode, hopefully. I have already gone and re-signalled the entire main line between GSMI and Sanley Central, which is the southern end. I'm not going to show it to you. Just trust me, it's there. All the routes have been re-signalled, including... Oh, no, I'm going to have to show you this one, because it's going to be hard to explain. But look, it takes mere seconds to zip across the map. Including this section here. So this is Preybourne. And here, trains split this way and head up to Plindham Junction, where again there are some cast of characters waiting. I think I saw a train heading south just now. Yeah, you. I don't think you're going to get in the way of this one. I don't believe so. Anyway, this section here, through this stretch here, along to this bit here, down through here. You can see the little scars where I've been rebuilding stuff. All the way along here, and then brace yourself, because there's going to be a huge construction site in a second. Not that, although that was an important thing, but this is Freyham Parkway, which has existed for a little while now. And originally this was just straight across only. And then this line here came straight through this way and also turned to the south. Now there's a way to get from the south to the north via the station. This was the old line. You can see where the old express line bridges are still. I've kept those in situ. But we've kept this as is, just so that we have this one station here that serves this town. And this is the town of Wadtown, or Wadtown. Probably need to change that, actually. This was a huge project, and I rebuilt it like 4 times because I wasn't happy with it. And I'm still not convinced I've signalled it properly either, but there you go. Anyway, the line is re-signalled completely. We've also come up through here to Fort Flonwood. Yep, forgot the name. Fort Flonwood Parkway. I've done a couple of little tweaks here as well and a couple of changes. And we are ready to actually start running the timing trains. There are going to be 3 timing trains. 4 timing trains, actually, for this entire thing. They're each going to run twice. The first time, goes back to something I was talking about in the last episode as well. The first time, they are going to collect all the times if the train just ran straight through the station without stopping. The second time, they are going to stop at every single station on their tracks, and we're going to gauge those times as well. The reason we're doing this is so that I can just copy and paste the entire timings and create all of the services, because there are, as I said, 14 services that we're looking to get up and running today. It will take far too long to run 14 timing trains. So I'm still going to use the spreadsheet method. If you check out the other video, you'll see the full method from start to finish. But just to get the timings, I'm going to take a little bit of a shortcut, which means they're not going to be 100% accurate. But considering we're rounding to the... are we rounding up? I think we're rounding up to the next half minute anyway. Or we're rounding up or down depending on how close it is to the 45 and 15 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. So I think we're actually rounding to the nearest half minute. They're not going to be accurate anyway. So, yeah, I think this is going to work out fine. Let's talk about train types then. Obviously, for the express, we're going to use the APTs. Now, for the semi-fast and the stopping, I said we were going to use double-decker stock. I now need to find good double-decker stock. Let's pop over here to the depot at Carnwell, because Carnwell here is our playground for this, and I think we've got some European trains somewhere in this. That's a double-decker coach. That's not the one I was looking. Ah, here we go. These ones, Deutschbahn, double-decker coaches and control cars. I think this is what we're going to use. That holds 100 passengers. If we had 8 of those on a train, which we're not, we're going to have 6 of them, but that's 600 passengers just in those carriages. This one can hold 108 for regional transport. And actually, because we're going to be using these for the semi-fast, loco hauled services for the semi-fast, I think that's perfect. I genuinely think that's perfect. For the slow services, I believe I also know what we're going to use. I'm just trying to find them. Here. These, the Bisons. These are 4 units long. They hold 388 passengers. We're going to have 2 of those, which, if my maths serves me correct, is 776. I think that's right. I also noticed we've got TGV Thales trains here as well, which would have been really useful to know when I was doing the high speed. Maybe we'll come back and redo that, because these can go 199 miles per hour. They'll actually be really good for the Western Reaches as well, but there's no tilt technology on these trains. So we're going to use the Bisons here, the 4s, the Verm 4 Bison, or the 4. I don't know. These are Dutch? Yeah. I don't know much about Dutch trains. I've been on some Dutch trains, but I don't know much about them. I do know they're called Bisons, though, and I think that's because of the shape of the nose at the front. Makes it look like a bison. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Someone always corrects me if I'm wrong, so that's fine. So we're going to use Bisons for the slows. They go 100 miles per hour. That's fine. These ones can go 101 miles per hour, which I guess is fine. These ones actually only go 94, so that's helped me make my mind up. So we're going to use the double decker here. They've got first and second class. And thanks to this, the 143, the 218, and the 146. So I think the 218 might be... Nope, you're the diesel. Of course you are. 143. You're going to be diesel as well, aren't you? Oh, no, you're electric. What's your top speed? 76. Well, that's not happening. 146. We don't have that yet. So I think we're going to have to go for the 218, even though it's unfortunately diesel. Although you only go 88. Huh. Okay. When does the BR146 become available? BR146 Loco. I feel like the end of the 90s. That's annoying because this network is set. Actually, when is this network set? Control-Alt-C. February 97. I think I'm literally off by 1 year. If I change that to 98, I think I'm going to have to reopen this window. But now, were I to look for the 146... No, 145? No. That was a waste of time. Okay, we might not be doing that then. Which is annoying. I'm going to set this back to 97. 97, I feel like 97 was a good year, but I was 4. So if someone wants to tell me if that was a good year or not, we'll see. First thing I need to do is get the express trains set up. So we already have the train from the depot to St. Michael here. So I'm now going to go and create a new one of those to run this timing train here. The other reason, so I said 3 and then changed it to 4. The other reason we need the other timing train is because at Sanley, we do actually have, I think it's 2. Yeah, 2 express trains that run from Sanley Central to Sonnington. And they're actually going to use this line here, which is why I built it. So they will stop, I think both stop. Yeah, both stop at Freyham Parkway, which is cool. They also, the first one stops at Tenley, Kidinghatton Airport Parkway, New Puston, which is a horrible name for an awesome station. Freyham Parkway and Preybourne. The second one stops at Contanda Cross, Poofingford Promenade, Tenley, Kidinghatton Airport Parkway, New Puston, Freyham Parkway, Menningley Market, Preybourne, Flewtown, and Bedtown Mill. A lot of stops. So I need to run a timing train also, because that's the other thing. Sandy, I do have to go down to Sandy now, it turns out. Oh yeah, I did some rebuilding over here too. You'll notice here, this little stub. I've actually created quite a lot of... There's a lot of crossovers already on this line, where you can access the fast line from the slow line and vice versa. I think all but 2 of them now have branch lines coming off them. But right now the branch lines don't go anywhere. Eventually they will go somewhere. But again, this is part of the experiment in today's episode. Master Trams has asked me to build a load of branch lines for his network, which is the south of Guard City. Southwestern, southeastern, and southern itself. So I wanted to experiment in this one and just see what that's going to be like to have all these random branch lines spurring off. Because I want to build some myself, but I was a bit afraid to do it. So I was kind of glad Master Trams asked me to do it. But yeah, down here at Sanley, we're actually going to have some trains originate here at Sanley to head back north up the Western Reaches, which is this line here. 2 go to Sonnington, as I've said. 1 just stops at Fort Flormwood Parkway. 2 go to Fort Flormwood Parkway, and 1 goes to New Puston, and 1 goes to Kidinghatton Airport Parkway as well. So yeah, we need to get all that up and running. But I'm just going to show you a little bit of this on camera, because I don't want to go too mental with this. And I'm also going to have to remind myself not to commit too much to doing absolutely everything here, because I need to create this other video as well. 370. This is the confusing bit, because there's this APT, which can go 156 miles per hour. Your capacity is 675. Yours is 534. I'm actually tempted, you know, to use this one. Your length is the same. In fact, your appearance is the same. The sprites might even be borrowed. There's only 1 T in British. British Rail openttd set pre-release. What's the cost? I mean, you're a lot cheaper. This running cost, I think, is affected by my base costs, new GRF, so I need to go change that. Yours is a lot more. I'm really tempted to get the 156 mile per hour running. Now, I could, if I wanted to, change the parameter. This is the glimpse behind the curtain. Where is it? There it is. You can change the speed between service speed and design speed. So I could get it that way, but then all my other trains fall out of whack. So I think I'm going to use this one for now and hope it doesn't cost me too much money. That does also mean actually that the running times are going to be botched as well, but actually that's fine. Is it fine? I think it's fine. Maybe actually they won't be botched. Let's just check. Let's do this. Timetable, because you're only running at 125 right now, aren't you? Yes, you are. Okay. That's fine then, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know, guys. Maybe just for the... do you know what? Just for consistency, I'm going to keep it to the other one. These are the difficult decisions we make. Well, these are the difficult decisions I make. Most of the time I make these off camera, and I'm supposed to be making this episode shorter. So that's gone well, hasn't it? Right, thanks to the fact that openttd has a memory, I don't have to redo all of this. I am, though, going to show you very quickly how I'm going to set these up. These timing trains, just so you can see for yourself how it's going to look. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to come over here. The running times, I believe, are all locked, and the stop times, I believe, are all locked. They've all got padlocks next to them, so that appears to be the case. Awesome. Back to orders then. So I'm going to select this, and we're going to set this up. So this is the non-stop run. And I have been told that there is a way to edit my hotkey config file to actually add a way. So if I do a combination of keys, it will... sorry, I'm just getting these up as well. It will allow me to do non-stop via as the default, which I'm definitely going to do, but I forgot to do it for today. So bear with me, folks, as I do it the manual way for now. I am going to here a little prawning well add, where is it? There it is. A waypoint, a set of waypoints here for the fast line still, which might seem dumb, but there's method behind the madness with some of this. The temptation is to actually do it for all of them, but I might have to come back and change that in the future. Basically, every time there's a station on the slow line, add a waypoint on the fast line. Which, again, that might sound mental. Why are you doing that? But I'm clicking all the wrong things now. Let's just pin that there. Pin that there. The reason behind it is for the timetable program, the new one I'm working on. Which, as I said, it will make sense when it comes to it. I might even talk about it in that other video. Again, I haven't recorded that other video yet, so your guess is as good as mine. But by the time you're watching this, you might have seen it, so you'll know. But yeah, the temptation is to add waypoints to all of these. I don't think I will. Not right now, anyway. You're going to go via Dinstown. Once these are up and running at like full tilt, the difference between 125 and 156 miles per hour might actually be quite minimal anyway. So, who knows? I've also painted myself into a bit of a corner because I built that massive depot over at Carnwell, and I'm also planning on rebuilding this one over here at Denninghead. It's not going to look like this anymore. It's not going to be off to one side. It's actually going to be a north to south facing depot with through lines and things like that. If I was to do that though, what am I going to do with the one over at Carnwell? I'm actually tempted to make that the overground depot over at Carnwell and actually have the trains use the Western Reaches North line to access Slenston and then run down onto the overground loop and then access GSG and GSC that way. But let me know what you think. Is that a good idea? Is that a terrible idea? I'm starting to think it might be a terrible idea now I've said it out loud, but we'll see. Right. Despite the fact we are going to run trains through here, actually no, I am going to do the through for now. We're not going to stop here, are we? But when it comes time to do the timing train for the stopping ones, then we're going to run and stop here. That made sense in my head. I'm going to just try and keep this. Sorry if I misspeak, but I'm trying to keep these episode lengths shorter. Someone quite rightly pointed out to me recently that one of the reasons viewership might not be great anymore is because episodes are too long. And I think that was a very, very fair critique. There's another one of those little stubs. I've put the signals in, but I've not done anything else with them right now. I think that was the right way of doing it. Powington Western Reaches, and then again, we're not stopping here, so we're going to go straight through. There is actually a service that's going to run non-stop from Guard City to Sanley, so having all this set up here is not the worst thing in the world. Through here, and again, there's another one here. Ah, yes, Portfield. This was an interesting case study. This used to be the junction station. As you'll see, though, we no longer have the express tracks going this way anymore, so I felt like demoting it and having Freyham as the new connection point between north-south and east-west. Again, let me know what you think about that. For now, I think I'm leaving the platforms in place, but the trains from Sanley to Sunnington don't stop at Portfield. And in fact, the train from GSMI to Kindinghatton does stop at Portfield, but that might get taken out. I've got time to think about that one. I could also just take it out in the future and reconfigure everything. The old program, that would have been a problem. The new one might not be as big a problem. We shall see. Yeah. Through here, across like this, and then down through New Puston, which, as I said, horrible name, awesome station. There we go. You'll also get an idea as to what the line looks like here now. Not much has changed at Kindinghatton. I've rebuilt the junctions to the north and the south, and I think I tweaked a little bit of the signalling. But besides that, this is the same as it was. The platforms are all the same. No layout changes there whatsoever. I think it was a good build, to be honest. I think it worked quite nicely. And the actual airport itself is pretty decent as well, though the terminal's right the way over here. I kind of wish I'd got all of this and turned it round. So that wasn't my smartest move. It's a shame there isn't like a copy and paste thing in this game. Considering we're working with sprites, you'd think that would be something that was doable, but alas, no. Not yet, anyway. Maybe someone's working on it. Who knows? Tenley. I was about to say, why can I hear a train? But I think that's because of this. Up here. I think a train just went past on that line. I forgot when you have the viewfinder open, you can hear the local noises around that vehicle. Yeah, down this way, avoiding all this. This is a long line, as you can see. And I really want to get this up and running, because this is going to be the first rail connection in a long time. We're talking years at this point, between Guard City and Sanley. Passengers can get here at the moment through a series of connecting flights. But to actually have this all connected up, and have trains, particularly trains that can carry hundreds of people at any one time, that's going to be really cool. Maybe even thousands of people, depending on how big we end up going with all this. Right, content across. We're almost there. I know this bit's nearby. Something else I was considering, and actually I've done it on the southern junction here. That's where Hundinghatton is. This loop. So the express tracks go straight across the bay. The slow tracks go round. I'm actually tempted here even to have a line, probably from Sanley, that branches off and goes this way through the valley and connects up loads of these towns and cities and things. And there's another line. What line's this? This is the Heritage Railway. Yeah. So actually having it come round this way, not connect to the railway, but near it, so that a simple bus can... sorry, can't speak. So a simple bus can connect the two together. that'll be a really useful connection as well. The heritage railways are useful on this map. In real life, maybe not so much. They're there for historical reasons, not for practical reasons. But in this world, there's no reason at all. Am I supposed to have waypoints here? I feel like I'm supposed to have waypoints here, and I just forgot to build them. That was smart, Mark. I'm going to build them around this way. I did do some changes over here. The depot is expanded at the back here for the APTs, and a couple of these storage tracks here have also been extended. But besides that, this is as it was. I also moved this line down. So this 4-track used to be one to the right. It's now here, and that's so that I could build a depot that's realistically long enough to store an APT. So the slow trains will come out of this one. The fast trains will come out of this one. And you can see they've all got depots installed. Very well hidden. I do love that feature as well. I'm going to put the waypoints here. Like that and like that. So you are Bunt Hill Western Reaches release fast, and you are Bunt Hill can't spell. I knew I was doing that wrong. Western Reaches release slow. Nice. Where were we? Fast. And then I think from here straight into Sanley, no? I believe so. I'm also here going to do this, because we are going to have some trains here that go into storage. So you are technically that's wrong. No loading, there we go. And then you are no loading, no unloading. And I guess for this I'm going to make this one here no loading as well. Just for now, and then also this one no loading. I need to clear the scheduled dispatch from this. Before I do that, I am going to make sure that all of the stop times here are, let's say 10 minutes. Where is Sanley? There. 10 minutes. We're going to lock those in. This is going to be 125 miles per hour. We're not going to lock that in, but I do need to make sure, and I've said this like 12 times already, so I think you've got the gist by now, that this and this no exist A. But I think I can do it. Remove current schedule. There we go. And remove current schedule. And then we're going to disable scheduled dispatch just for now. Because of that, we can now say autofill. Oh, we also need to take out, whoops. We also need to take out that. And then this is going to be our timing train. This is what we're going to use for the time. I'm always clicking the wrong things. Let's get rid of all that stuff as well. For this then, I'm going to keep you up like so. I'm actually going to be switching PCs in a minute anyway, so it's not going to matter too much. And then, yeah, sorry, I keep saying the same things over and over again. This is going to be our timing train, believe it or not. We're going to run it non-stop down to Sanley and back again. And then we're going to take those times and use them for the next bit. I'm going to do all the other stuff off camera. You guys don't need to see it because we're already 28 minutes into this video and I want to make sure this is around about an hour long. So you've seen the Bisons. In terms of the other train we're going to use for the semi-fast services, maybe we swap it round actually. Maybe the stopping trains are going to be the loco hauled ones. I've already forgotten what. So you are 94 mile per hour speed. This doesn't actually say what carriage it needs. What loco it needs, sorry. The 143 was the slow one though, wasn't it? Like 70 something miles an hour. 76. The top speed is 100 on the slow lines, but it does drop to 75 in certain places. So do we just go with that? I think the answer might be yes, and that's the slow trains. And then the semi-fast are going to be the Bisons, because these can go 100 miles an hour. And these are intercity. So I like that. I think that's what we're going to stick with. So I've already forgotten what the loco was. The 143. Yep. Cool. Right. I need to go and get these timing trains running and then start making the timetable program video. And I'll be back in a bit with some complete timing trains and hopefully some trains actually running properly as well. See you in a bit. All right, everyone. I am back. Now, a couple of things. If you've watched the M4J network database project so far, you'll know it's not one episode anymore, it's 3. I decided to dedicate one episode to each stage of the existing program, purely because of how long each one is. Now, the first 2 were fairly manageable. The third one, yeah, if you've seen it, which it went out 2 days ago, if you're watching this on release day, then you'll see what happened. Basically, I've run into a bit of an issue. Now, I think there is a couple of ways that I can fix it. I talk about it more in that episode. I won't dwell on it too much here. One of which is to increase the number of iterations that the program runs for, which is the first thing I'm going to try. I haven't done it yet, but that is the first thing I'm going to try. The second thing is to do with the number of times that previous services have been run. So the example that we discovered was over here on the West Winds, which is something I pointed out, I think it was 2 episodes ago in this series. And I'm just looking to see. We might get an example of it in just a second. Yeah, so this train here is going to leave first. This one is going to leave behind it. And what's going to happen is somewhere around here-ish, if not before or after, the fast train is going to catch up to the slow train and is going to get held up by it. And actually, it's over here where the conflict was detected between the 2 trains. Now, this is something I'd noticed before, and I had mentioned it. Where I saw it was over here, basically, by Drunnington and Tenfing Bridge. I saw that there was an issue where the fast train had caught up, and it was only here where it can actually get past. So there are a couple of things that I can try in order to resolve this. But unfortunately, the way the program was working, I even tried it with just the Western Reaches South services, so the new ones that we're adding today. And I couldn't get it to resolve all of the conflicts. It was still returning. I think it started with 1,300 and something. Then by the time it actually got to the iteration process, it had taken that number down to 400-ish. It might have been just north of that still. But it got stuck on 400 when it was all of the services. When I did it with just the Western Reaches South services, it got stuck at 363, I think it was. And then when I got the list of remaining conflicts at the end, I saw what the issue was. Sorry, I keep saying that like that means something. But I'm kind of figuring it out in my head as I'm talking. I'm rubber ducking myself right now, it seems. But essentially, yeah, there's an issue with the problem. There is a problem with the program, is what I was trying to say. There's an issue with the program. Something's not working right still. It could just be the sheer volume of services that we're now running through it. There aren't enough iterations to try and resolve it. Or there's something else going on under the hood that I'm not fully aware of. One thing that was encouraging, though, was the fact that it was pulling up the conflict over here, which means that the train was actually reaching this point and the station was being treated as the waypoint correctly, so that the one in front of it was overlapping. There was a occupancy overlap was what it was flagging as. So it means that fix that I did in the last episode, 2 episodes ago, after 2 episodes ago, that fix seems to have worked. But it didn't pull up the northwestern here as a problem. And I think I also know why that is. And I didn't say it in the database series, but I think it's actually because there are no scheduled instances where the fast train and the slow train are meant to be in the same place at the same time. So what I mean by that is here, Printhatton Springs, let's say the slow train is scheduled to come through here at 7:09, which is now at the bottom here. Arrives at 7:09, leaves at 7:10, and the fast train is supposed to come through here at 7:08. Technically, there's no overlap, but because the fast train is stuck behind the slow train, it's running late. So it's a coincidence that there are no scheduled overlaps at the stations, and the actual catch-up takes place between stations, like on a piece of track like this. That's where the running period is supposed to come into play, because the running period extends the occupancy period to a point where hopefully the headway is large enough that it would create a conflict that way. But as this program has now proved, just because we detect the conflict doesn't mean it can actually resolve it. So the solution is one of many things. It could be that we're running too many services, or we're running them too frequently, or there's something else going on. And it could be that there aren't enough iterations in the program. I am going to go test that. I'll keep you updated on the progress on that if you're interested. Or it could be something else. And I'm really hoping it's not something else. But I am going to go away and check. And I was doing the maths. I haven't got my phone on me, so I'm going to get a calculator up on my screen here. But there was something like, let's say 500 stations on a single itinerary. And that's a daily itinerary from start of day to end of day. And there were 44 services. That means there are, on average, 22,000 stations across the board. So every service has, it was an estimation, but let's say every service has 500 stations in its itinerary. Some have more, some have less, and there were 44 of them. That's 22,000 stations that could be randomly selected to have the adjustment made to them. My program caps out at 5,000 consecutive iterations with no improvement. 5,002nd might be the one that creates the improvement. So the first thing to do is just to increase that number, and then go from there. So I'm going to go away and do that. It's really annoying because I really wanted to get these trains running for you guys at the end of the episode, and for me, I suppose. But unfortunately, it's not to be, which is incredibly frustrating. But I'm not going to be defeated too much. I am going to go away and look at this and see what I can do. But I want to get this episode out to you guys, so I'm going to wrap this one up here. And I've said this in the database series as well, if you have any ideas yourself as to what's going on here and why it's not working, please do by all means let me know. You can comment on the video here, or if you want to do it more privately, you can join my Discord. And if you want to do it even more privately than that, you can message me on Discord. The best way to do that is to join Discord. Link is in the description down below, and then you can find me on there and send me a message. But I would ask that you only message me if you do have ideas on improvements, because I'm getting inundated with messages right now about openttd, some of which I can't answer, unfortunately. But please, if you are able to help, I'd be very grateful, because I've lost the ability to use my coding tool that I've been using. I might as well be honest with you guys. I was using Gemini to help with coding, and something in its recent updates, which kind of makes sense to me, they don't let you run huge bundles of code through it anymore. There's a line limit, which does make sense, because I was running thousands of lines of code myself through it, and it was starting to cause performance issues. So I can't only imagine how many people were running how many lines of code through it, and there's probably smoke coming out of the server farm. So that's annoying, but I might be able to do it with small chunks, and I still want to go ahead and get this running period thing set up as well. So that'll be my next thing. How I'm going to do that, I have no idea, but I'll keep you guys posted, and the database series will keep you updated on that as well. But yeah, I'm going to have to end it here, I'm afraid, or I'll end it over at Sanley. We can just pretend that trains were running in and out of here. At least I got 7 trains running today. You might not have seen them, but I did, and it was glorious. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series so far. Drop those comments down below with ideas for future episodes, and like I said, if you can help, then please do get in touch. I will be forever in your debt. Besides that, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you for your continued support. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and until next time, where hopefully we will have some trains running here to Sanley, I will see you soon.